Good day from Inside Drug Discovery. This video gives a brief description of a drug, RAPIBLYK, which was recently approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. I will be focused more on the medicinal chemistry properties of the drug rather than its therapeutic benefit. RAPIBLYK was approved on November 22, 2024. RAPIBLYK is approved for short-term treatment of conditions like atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter. The active compound is landiolol. The drug is administered as an intravenous infusion with a typical dose of 9 micrograms per kilogram of patient mass per minute in patients with normal cardiac function. The NDA applicant is AOP Health out of Vienna, Austria. The prescribing information insert of RAPIBLYK is cited at the bottom of the slide, and this reference was used extensively in the preparation of this video. I think the best place to start with RAPIBLYK is with its target, the beta-1 adrenoceptor, and comparing landiolol to other beta-1 adrenoceptor ligands. RAPIBLYK is an antagonist for the beta-1 adrenoceptor, and the general name for this class of drug is beta blocker. On this slide are several beta blockers. Each is listed with its structure, year of discovery, selectivity for the beta-1 to beta-2 receptor, common use, and half-life. As you can see, most of these beta blockers are from the late 1970s and 1980s. For selectivity, blocking the beta-1 adrenoceptor mostly reduces heart rate. Blocking the beta-2 adrenoceptor mostly reduces blood pressure. Early beta blockers like metoprolol and atenolol had relatively high activity on the beta-2 adrenoceptor and therefore were used to treat hypertension. Esmolol showed more beta-1 selectivity and found use in patients who are experiencing atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter while under anesthesia. The short half-life of esmolol was advantageous because the compound was addressing a short-term problem. Nearly 40 years later, landiolol has been approved with higher beta-1 selectivity and an even shorter half-life. Therefore, landiolol has an even lower risk of reducing blood pressure through beta-2 receptor antagonism. Both esmolol and landiolol achieve a short half-life because of the presence of an unhindered ester group. Esters like these are readily hydrolyzed by esterases in the plasma, so both compounds are degraded very quickly. Here are the main pharmacokinetic properties for RAPIBLYK. As we have seen, the half-life is 4.5 minutes. Clearance is 57 milliliters per minute per kilogram of patient mass. This value is quite high, greater than hepatic blood flow. This high clearance value is consistent with a non-hepatic means of clearance, which can include renal clearance or hydrolysis by plasma esterases. The volume of distribution is somewhat low at 0.4 liters per kilogram. Finally, plasma protein binding is low at less than 10%. Let's now discuss metabolism and excretion. The main metabolic fate of landiolol is hydrolysis of the ester functional group to the carboxylic acid on the screen. This is metabolite M1. When I hear metabolism, I always assume it is hepatic metabolism. In the case of landiolol, it undergoes extrahepatic metabolism, metabolism outside the liver. In this case, metabolism in the plasma by esterases. Landiolol is excreted almost exclusively via the urine. Around half of the dose is excreted as metabolite M1. 8% is unchanged drug, landiolol itself. The remainder is not accounted for. One could imagine that metabolite M1 could undergo additional reactions such as glucuronidation of the carboxylic acid, which would occur in the liver. The prescribing information does include some warnings for patients, with 2 of the warnings revolving around cardiovascular risks. The first warning mentions hypotension, bradycardia, too slow of a heart rate, and even cardiac failure. All of these are consistent with RAPIBLYK's reduction in heart rate. The second warning, myocardial ischemia, weakening of cardiac efficiency, is also in line with RAPIBLYK's mechanism of action. The only adverse reaction listed is hypotension, which was observed in nearly 10% of patients taking RAPIBLYK in a phase 3 study, relative to just 1% of patients taking a placebo. That is the end of this summary of the approval of the new drug application of RAPIBLYK, which was granted by the U.S. FDA on November 22nd of 2024. RAPIBLYK is a selective beta-1 adrenoceptor antagonist with a very short half-life for short-term treatment of conditions like atrial fibrillation and atrial flutter. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, making a comment, or leaving a question. Take care.